So a very good afternoon to you, Satyajeet. Welcome to the
afternoon.
Fireside series by Technavik. So he is also one of my mentors, but more than that, he is today a very accomplished serial entrepreneur, gotten into technology from being an entrepreneur. I think today he's technopreneur or more of a CTO, I believe. I would like to believe. We'll hear the interview to see what he has to say about himself. So he is the co-founder and chief strategy officer for Bankit, which is into financial services. So over to Satyajeet before I can, introduce him more. I think I leave the buck on him. So Satyajeet, can you tell me in short, what do you do and how do you define the Satyajeet Limaye?
Sure. So let me introduce Satyajit first, and then let Satyajit introduce Bankit. Right. So I have been fortunate to create a couple of organizations in the past, and that has been an amazing entrepreneurial journey. And professionally, I think it is very fulfilling to see an organization in your mind, have it as an idea, and then see it in reality, roll it out, face the challenges. So it was very evolving for me. Challenges changed me, improved me, and matured a lot of decision making. So as Satyajit, I have been a technology organization builder, you can say, with a founder's mindset. Currently, I am associated or being a co-founder of Bankit team. Bankit is into financial services. We created it brick by brick. It's 8-year journey now. We have 200 plus employees, growing strong. I think we started at the right time. So what does Bankit do? Bankit is into providing financial services to Class B, Class C cities. It is a phygital environment. What I mean by that is we have physical agent outlets who use digital platform of Bankit to deliver financial services to end customers or citizens. So more than 3 crore plus citizens reach out to our agent locations pan India, and they can take the services, for example, cash deposit to their account, cash withdrawals, they can do bill payments, they can book orders at agent locations, they can card themselves, they can issue prepaid card to themselves and become digital. And all our agent locations are spread out of close to 70,000, 80,000 agent locations that are pan India. And they provide digital financial services irrespective of where you have bank account. We are like a bank branch for you. So that's what Bankit does on one hand. Second, Bankit provides technology to large financial institutions like banks, mainly prepaid platform technology provision to banks. So we are part of digital transformation of the banks. So that's more or less the introduction about myself and what my company does.
Tell me something, when you have the Razorpays and Paytms and the entire of the world, how does it, how does Bankit still make sense? And which is that area that you cater to specifically differently?
Sure. So take an example. Whenever you travel 50 kilometers outside a city or a urban setup, we call it a rural setup, right? It's a rural urban mix setup, and financial infrastructure drastically reduces there. If you are going around city, you will see ATMs, you are self-serviced, you have mobiles, and all financial services are abundantly making their presence in and around the city. 50 kilometers away, it is difficult to find a ATM. It is difficult to see the information around or those outlets where you can probably get insurance very easily, have saved products, issue yourself a prepaid card, you want to deposit, you want to withdraw money. That financial infrastructure exponentially reduces as you go deeper into, let's say, Bharat. Right. So in Class B, Class C cities or in rural locations, what we do is, and this is amazing, what Bankit does is, you are a Play Store away to become an entrepreneur. You download Bankit app, and who are you? You could be having a Xerox shop in a village. You could be having a grocery shop in a village, in a square where there is a
Yeah.
unique activity happening in the village. You download the mobile app, do your KYC with Bankit, and you have opened a digital shop of financial services for people around your vicinity. Now, these people can come to your place irrespective of where they have their bank account. They can do following. They can send money, they can spend money, they can save money, and they can borrow money, right? So what that means is, as a Bankit agent, if Ipsita comes to, let's say, Satyajit's counter, and wherever your bank account is, if you say, I want to withdraw money with help of Aadhaar-enabled payment system, we allow you to, debit your account and take cash from the agent. Other way around, if you have cash and you want to deposit it, or you want to send money home as a migrant, or security guards who have
Yeah.
their families in villages, they come to these outlets. They want to have a conversation on how they want to save money, how they can send money back home. So agent educates them about digital gold. Let's say that they can, everyone buy 500 rupees, 1,000 rupees of digital gold. When Diwali comes, they can actually get the delivery of gold, or they can withdraw money that they have saved. A lot of times they need a conversation to book something online, and they want the delivery to happen at the agent's location. They'll pick it up later. So
Right.
then there are micro insurances, there are agri insurances. There are also a lot of locations where there are farmers who have taken agri loan from, different financial institutions. They find out
Yeah.
that there is a Bankit location nearby, and they can pay the installment for their parent institution.
Right.
For example, L&T Finance or DHFL, or lot of home credit. So there are a lot of NBFCs who are on Bankit's platform, and they find it
Right.
easy to, have Bankit agent as an extension of their services. Then at the back end on the digital platform, we have a lot of algorithms which run and which help the citizen to get the services.
Wonderful. Since you talked about algorithm, I would like to ask you, as a, almost a CTO of a fintech company doing wonderful things, probably getting retail element into the entire
Correct.
rural area, which is
Yeah.
so important. I think you're retailizing the rural market.
Yes.
So how have you implemented the 3A strategy, which is famously called the automation, analytics, and AI strategy? How have you done it?
See, it is not only close to my heart, but it is very close to the business model that we adopt.
Okay.
So if you see automation, analytics, and AI, these
Yeah.
three are going to be the keywords of the future for next 10 years with whatever infrastructure that has come in now. However, I want to take a step back and connect to this trinity. I want to connect to the earlier trinity, which is Jan Dhan accounts, Aadhaar, and mobile. Now, what happened was there was an infrastructure that was laid by connection of these three things. Now, every Indian has a bank account, has a Aadhaar, and has a mobile. This trinity infrastructure has created many possibilities of financial services to be delivered on top of this trinity. Now, imagine the second trinity of automation, analytics, and AI sitting on top of this triangle, right? Then
Right.
there are exponential possibilities that are that are coming up. And with automation, analytics, and AI, I will combine a few more things. For example, we have agent aggregator, account aggregator model, which has come. There is ONDC, which is coming, and we will elaborate during the discussion, and UPI. So what has now happened is there is greater amount of digital visibility of each citizen, which was earlier not the case because of the bank account, Aadhaar, and mobile. There is a digital visibility of citizens. There is a digital visibility of his financial journey, right? His spend journey, and a lot of behavioral aspects are now digitally available. For example, today I can very quickly verify somebody's PAN from issuer database. I can quickly check the bill based on the relationship that you give. I can quickly check are there any court cases against the DIN number, PAN number, or SIN number. And so while this is digitally available, automation can take care of
Yeah.
automating a lot of journeys which otherwise you were doing by going in a bank branch.
True.
In addition to that, I am able to qualify you far more by doing the analytics part. For example, I can look at your spend behavior, your spend budgets, your spend patterns. I can look at your account activities, your credit ratings, and this insight can help me instead of you can say couple of days that earlier branch used to take. The analytics are now in a position to over the counter tell you that these are the 5 products for which you are eligible or these are beneficial to you, these saving plans and things like that. And on top of it, these insights coupled with artificial intelligence personalize or create sachets which are suitable for you and you only. So there is a improved intimacy between the product and the consumer, whether it is a financial product or whether it is a non-financial product. With AI, there is a good amount of intimacy that gets created, or personalization or customization or hyper personalization that gets created by use of these three. So for Bankit's business model, this 3A strategy is very core to the way we address our market.
So how have you designed your technology team? What is your dependence? Do you have vendor networks or do you evaluate vendors? How do you choose your technology and vendors?
Actually, Bankit is a very large platform, right? So there is a huge amount of collaborative efforts. There are huge number of API partners whose services we consume on one side. On other side, we create workflows within our system, and workflows are very dedicated because of the financial products that we have. So choice of technology is a challenge for us, and the way I would like to look at it is there are mainstream technologies on which we depend for a longer period of time, which means we choose technologies which are agile, which help us to modify workflows on the fly. Whenever regulator keeps revising the products, we have to respond to the compliances very fast. So we look at open technologies, agile methodologies. We also adopt low-code enterprise grade platforms so that work can be deployed very fast. So we experiment. So the one is the mainstream commitment, mainstream technology commitment, which is slightly long term. At the same time, there are a lot of experimental technologies. For example, today we talk a lot about GPT. We talk a lot about how AI can become integral to the conversation threads that we have with our citizen customers, right?
Right.
There are, on the periphery of our mainstream long-term commitment, we also have experimental layer where we allow newer technology vendors to create use cases around our API libraries so that our core doesn't remain unchanged for a longer period of time. For us to remain in
that's crowdsourcing at their own benefit and your cost or whatever.
Yes. So our own context has to remain relevant to the citizen of citizen of 2025, citizen of 2035, and for that there are these peripheral experimental technologies which we see that will gradually become mainstream going ahead. So not only do we have a commitment at the core for longer time, we also have a experimental you can say wrapper around our technology where we welcome newer technologies and newer use cases to be developed.
I think you answered what I would have asked you next, is that being in an industry which is heavily affected by all your pestle factors, regulatory being one of them, and obsoletism, how plan your technology? You started probably 4 years back. Today, 4 years back, is Bankit?
We have completed 8 years now.
8 years back, the world was very different. Today, the world is like you're on lava. So how do you
Absolutely.
plan your technology roadmap? Is that still a relevant question, or you talked about making it open source, make users use on the top of it, or anything else we must remember that you need to, being a technologist in the BFSI, which you need to take care in fintech?
See, there are a couple of motivations for technology roadmap.
Yeah.
One motivation is any technology that we are committing to has a end of life or a lifespan.
Right.
So we know that
Yeah.
any database that we commit to will be supported for, let's say, 7 to 8 years, 10 years
Hmm.
maximum.
Hmm.
However, we also have to see what are the newer databases or newer features which can have a meaningful business impact, not just the financial
Hmm.
impact.
Hmm. Hmm.
But uh, at the same time, we also have to see how much agile our team is. So
Yeah.
we have to make sure that our teams are open to learning.
Hmm.
The technologies that we choose have two kinds of approaches. One approach
Hmm.
we call as evolutionary approach, where
Okay.
what is the next incremental improvement in databases or middlewares or the
Hmm.
languages that we are choosing. Based on
Hmm.
that, preparing our teams and committing to those technologies. That is more of an
Right.
evolutionary roadmap that one has to take. Even if we are now a large company, we can't call ourselves startup now, or very large banks with whom we work, they have
Yes.
to take the evolutionary approach. Otherwise, over a decade, you will see that you are getting outdated in no time. That's one evolutionary approach that we take. Second is the revolutionary approach, where we
Hmm.
take a replacement decision making.
Hmm.
If a low code platform can effectively replace the whole legacy system, create a better responses, better ROI, then we make sure that stakeholders are taken into confidence. POCs are, for us, we have learned that POCs are a must. Proof of concepts must be shown to the
Hmm.
stakeholders. Stakeholders buy-in in the entire process becomes very necessary. And then a revolutionary roadmap is made, whether the entire stack, top to bottom, can be changed and a heavy lifting can be done so that entirely new experience can be created. So these are the two approaches that we find that we are compelled to take. One is a evolutionary
Short
approach,
term.
and the other is to replace. And both have benefited us hugely, because if you see over time, 2015,
Hmm.
2025, the pace of change itself has changed,
Yes. I
right?
like that statement, but do you want to elaborate it?
So earlier, we used to see that most of the financial payment systems would survive a decade or two
Yes.
decades. Fund
Yes.
transfers in a lot of other countries, even today, are electronic
Yes.
fund transfers, EFTs, which we call as
Right.
NEFT, is what we do, or RTGS, real-time gross
Right.
settlement. These have been surviving for 20 years,
Yes. They are still there.
right?
Yes.
Now, after 2015, if you see, when UPI
Hmm.
came, people were
Yes.
wondering, will UPI really be the retail payment system?
Hmm.
In 5 years,
Hmm.
maid or your newspaper wala or your grocery guy will do less business if he is not on UPI.
True. Thought of
So,
Allah's included.
right? The
Yes.
coconut guy
Yes. Yes. Yes.
on the
Yes.
roadside will have lesser business, or will be able to sell less if he doesn't have a QR code. So,
A UPI or a QR code. Yeah.
and this has happened in 5 years. 5 years back,
Hmm.
would wonder whether UPI is going to be a mainstream system or not.
True.
So if
True. True.
the earlier the transformations were happening as a with a time unit of decade
Right.
or time unit of 2 decades.
No, I think you have to thank a lot of people and everything. COVID, demonetization, the
Yes.
stage was set, and of course, you guys. So this makes me think, if you look at BFSI, one end of the spectrum is banks who still don't have a solution more than the core banking solution. And the other spectrum are their brothers and sisters, the entire FSI, who are talking about changing, taking POCs like you and being on the nerve. it's high time that somebody comes up with something for the banks also. Or where is that lacuna happening? You guys are
See,
and then banks are
I
one
have a
end.
way of looking at it, and
Hmm.
this may not be the view of the industry, but uh, bank is a place of trust.
Hmm.
Bank is where you keep money. You don't keep money anywhere. You
Right.
keep money in bank. So banks should continue to be the place of trust,
Okay.
institution of trust, institution which holds money on your behalf for you. And fintech should take the role of creating fantastic user experience. Today,
Hmm.
UPI gives you a very good example of divorcing the experience with money. You are
Hmm.
you might choose bank A, and just to take the names, I would say you might choose State Bank of
Yeah.
India, Axis, or ICICI or HDFC as a place where you want to keep the money. And you might
Hmm.
choose Google Pay or Bharat Pay or Phone Pay as a method of experiencing your money, right?
Hmm.
So this has been divorced
The
very
spoke and
successfully.
the wheel model, the spoke
Yes.
and the wheel model. Right. No,
So
so
money experience is
wonderful,
created
wonderful
from the
point
money
made
itself.
again.
And I
Hmm.
believe going
Right.
ahead, let bank
Yeah.
be the institution of trust,
Hmm.
the feeling of safety, and let
Right.
fintechs be the
The
experience
UX part of it.
mechanism. And this is a very good example that India has created, and a lot of countries are taking interest in understanding how UPI effectively allows
Hmm.
you free to take your experience the way you want, while continuing to keep money where you think it is safe. So I think India has a example for the world.
Set well. A
And
wonderful case study of how it was done.
yes,
Wonderful. Excellent. So this takes me back to one more question that yes, so the banks and the FSI go together, thorough experience, back with a strong backbone. But so you as a fintech company, I'm sure you interact with a lot of banks, right?
yes.
So they still have to be the foundation, the classic thinking people. What is your suggestion to them? So let for you, instead of I would say CIOs are not your customers, your CIOs of banks are your customers, CTOs of banks are your customers. So what are the three things they should do while they are planning their proliferation, growth, and henceforth, thereon, therefore?
A lot of things. So,
Let's
so
let's then make it to 3 points. Blog
that
for
is
them then.
that is difficult.
Yes.
But see, couple of things must be understood that money is going to change in next 10 years hugely.
Mm.
Earlier, money was in the form of denominations.
Okay.
Now, great amount of percentage of money is in terms of your data as a bank
Mm.
balance, but you never see it in denominations now. You see it
Mm. Mm.
as a balance. It is
Yes.
the
Okay.
reflected data for you. And it moves in certain installments today, right?
Mm.
When I say installments, in instances, like
Mm.
UPI is an event through which money is transferring, or NEFT is a batch through which the money is getting transferred. In the future, the money will get streamed. Earlier,
Mm.
you used to store music in cassettes.
Yeah.
Then you converted it into storing it on your laptops. Today, you stream it.
Yes.
You have forgotten the fact of storing music was a matter of treasure. And
Yeah.
your friends were very rich if they had a fantastic collection of music. Today,
Yeah.
music is streaming, it is democratized, it is one click
Yes.
away available on phones. Replace music with money.
Really, it's too difficult. You have to help me a little more. Yeah.
So money is expected to stream far more easily than it streams today, in terms of your rent payments, in terms of pay as
Mm.
you watch. Uh, you will pay exactly for what you are watching, as many minutes as you are
Ah.
watching on the channel that you are watching. You will
Ah.
pay
Okay.
while you travel. It will stream. You will pay per minute to the consultants who are available virtually. You will pay your employees on a streaming basis. So money is supposed to stream in the future. right? It has to be a
This makes me think how much more busy you are going to be. I don't think you'll ever be able to return this way.
So banks of the future are totally going to be different than banks of today. So my what is my one message? If you so basically to answer your question, I have given what background money is going to do, and then what
Yes.
banks or financial institutions need to do is there are a lot of formats of money which are getting launched now. There is
Okay.
e-rupee which is coming. There is CBDC which is coming. There are a lot of formats of commerce which are coming digitally, like ONDC, which is very similar to UPI. You will choose the shop,
Okay.
you will choose who should deliver, right? So commerce is also getting democratized. I will just give you one very quick example and tell you how huge the scope is going to be in the future. Say when you order something from e-tailer, let's say Flipkart or Amazon or things like that, you select a certain item and everything is incidental, how it gets delivered to you. In a open source e-commerce, which is getting rolled out while we speak, you will as a B2B, you will be able to choose cold storage or a warehouse. You will be able to choose the logistic partner, and at a retail level, I'll be able to choose a shop. I'll be able to choose the item, and I will say let India Post deliver this to me. Right? So it is like a huge Lego pieces game of e-commerce, and it is open source. So now banks of today will be part of this Lego creation of e-commerce. They will say, let me finance bill, let me offer bill discounting. Because I can see that this is the flow of sale that you are doing online. They will finance cold storage, they will finance the logistic guys. They will do bill discounting because they can see the credit period happening online. So everybody has a huge play in this big Lego game of ONDC, which is open, which is an open network for commerce. At the same time, imagine money streaming on top of the commerce layer. Today's technologies will not be compatible with commerce of tomorrow, of financial payment systems. So new financial payment systems will be required for banks. And so newer technologies will be required to be implemented. So nothing of today
is going to be there in how many years? So we have to be ready for how many years?
Yeah, so give and take. So imagine 2015, a non-QR era.
Yeah.
And imagine today, 7 years, and we didn't realize while we were busy building our businesses, certain things have changed hugely on the background. Which is what I expect 2033. The most relevant question that you would be asking CIOs is, what next after money has started streaming?
I'll put this in the question.
10 years, these 10 years are going to be extremely busy because money is changing its form, coming in e-rupee and digital currency. Money transfers are changing the form. The way money will get financed in open networks of commerce is going to change. So banks of today, with systems of today, won't have a place to cater to this. They will have to look at the new technology racks, new technology mechanisms, huge amount of AI coming into play, huge amount of analytics coming into play. The 3A strategy is going to be paramount importance for money of tomorrow.
This way, for the brevity of time, I think that this conversation can go into multiple episodes. I think we'll have to open a series of episodes with Satyajeet and 4 episodes. But for the brevity of this, I'll ask 2 more questions, which I feel I should ask you. The penultimate question is, this is just out of inquisitiveness for myself. I saw many years back you were a big evangelist of Bitcoin, and I don't hear that anymore, even in my surrounding. Are you still guys using Bitcoin? Because whatever layers you told me, I could still think of Bitcoin, but nobody talks about it. What's changed?
Very interesting. And again, that is like you rightly said, a separate episode is required for this. But see, uh, some time back, I was elaborating on experimental outer layer and a core
Yes.
long-term commitment mainstream technologies, which is precisely what is happening to currency today. And when I was saying currency is going to change the form, that is precisely where it is going. Central boards are coming up with digital currencies, right? And which is another form factor to what Bitcoin is today. But Bitcoin was not committed through a centralized regulator. It was a anti-centralized regulator principled currency. If you look at it, there were two conversations that I was having some years back. One is a blockchain as a technology and its merits uh, against the centralized technologies, where the verity quality or um, a lot of authentication quality of transactions can be stored on blockchain or a distributed ledger. One of its use case is Bitcoin, right? Blockchain is a core technology, and one of the use case is Bitcoin. So blockchain is going to be or is becoming mainstream, and
Okay.
central regulators of respective countries have started adopting blockchain and implementing digital currencies on top of it. One very simple example that I will give you is when you have money in the bank, you see it as a balance. When you have currency
Yes.
in your pocket, every currency has a number.
Yes.
On one side, when you digitally transfer the money, footprint is created of the transfers. On other side, when you physically transfer the notes by giving it to somebody, the currency number is maintained, but not the footprint.
True. Yes.
In digital currency, both these things will happen,
Okay.
right? The currency number and the footprint. I mean,
And the footprint.
as a layman, this is the
Yes. Yes. Yes.
example that I can place as the what are the added qualities that newer money is going to have. So
So
blockchain is
blockchain
going to,
continues to remain to be the mainstream, being
yes,
used below as a layer on the
absolutely,
bottom of digital
absolutely,
currencies, and
yes,
it will still remain a part of your entire implementation model, I believe.
absolutely.
Wonderful. Now, the last question. I heard so many things. I was just going to ask, how does Satyajeet Limaye's week look like? No, you're doing front-end integrations, you're doing POCs, you're doing technology, you're doing your alliances, you're doing social inclusion. So you tell me still, how does your week look like? How do you dabble between all this?
One very important aspect that I must address is this cannot be a one-man show. There is a huge team which I am representing, right? We have a fantastic team, fantastic management. We have awesome employee culture at Bankit, and respective teams are passionate about what they are doing. So one man cannot make such a large impact. It's an organization that Bankit is, and one social initiative that Bankit does. If you see, some time back, I was saying that you are a Play Store away to become an entrepreneur, right? So we create entrepreneurs
Yes.
with different abilities. All they need to have is a mobile phone, a smartphone. We help them to download the agent app, train them so that woman who is a migrant and who wants employment can become entrepreneur immediately. It's a revenue source for them. Differently abled people find this most practical because they don't have to do any additional asset investment, skill investment, learn a particular domain and things like that. We give them training, so there is a social impact. And
Yes.
to come back to the question that you have asked, so we have team which is focused on creating revenue or earning source for differently abled people. We have teams who do farming, for example. When I say farming, they keep going back to customer, keep on listening to end customer, agent as a customer, our internal customers.
Yes.
I think it's a teamwork. At the same
Right.
time, we have to make sure that the team is agile and keeps moving with the newer technologies and changes. So I think I represent that. And to answer, how does my week look like? Um, Being a chief strategy officer, day-to-day operations don't come to me. We have a fantastic chief operating officer who takes care of that. I am supposed to take care of building projects, creating projects. So a lot of ideation, brainstorming, consensus building is what I do. Keep inspiring people to undertake newer and newer projects. That is what I do. So
It quite answers
my
me,
typical
answers my
week
question, because
is
that's because
meeting all
balancing between
interactions.
innovation, revenue model, implementation, you needed a strategy officer surely. And so by placing a CSO itself, I think you've done the right thing. And placing yourself in that role is even a better.
Thanks. That's true.
Wonderful. It was a great session, Satyajeet. I would love to have you back sometime on another topic.
Looking
Thank
forward.
you so much.
Thanks.